Hi everyone, Pao here, and today's book of choice is Made to Stick by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. So the book is about understanding why some ideas stick or are remembered more while others fizzle out and get forgotten. So as usual, I have my key takeaways summarized into six. So what's good about the book is they summarized it into an acronym which is success without the last S, right? So the first one is to make ideas stick, it needs to be simple. So if you have an idea and then there are 10 points that you want to highlight, tendency is a lot of people would have a hard time remembering all those 10 points. So rather than bombard them with a lot of information, try to distill it into the core message. What is the core message that you want to get across, and focus on that? The simpler the message is, the easier it is for people to remember and make it stick. The second one is unexpected. People remember ideas if they receive unexpected information. So one example there is a weight loss product. If I tell a person, go to the gym, eat a diet, and so on, tendency is people won't remember the method, right? Mainly because it's common knowledge for you to do that. However, if you give new information like lose 20 pounds, for example, with only 30 minutes of gym each week. Because of this, unexpectedness, right? People would tend to remember that more. So, unexpected. The next one is concrete. So, to make your idea stick, it needs to be concrete. How to do this is when you're explaining idea, it would be good if ever you make it more visual, make it tap into the different sensory organs of a person. Like for example, Bill Gates did a great job here when he was explaining the new innovation he made, wherein he can turn human waste into drinkable water. Rather than simply explain the concept of the solution, what he did is he made a product demonstration or involving props. So he showed the system, and at the end of his presentation, he actually drank the water. Because of this, it was more visual and people were able to better understand the key concept by him using props and demonstrating it in a live audience. This made this idea stick more as it was more concrete. So be more concrete, be more visual when explaining. The fourth one is credible. So people tend to remember ideas who are that are credible, right? So identify in your industry who are the figures of authority. May it be doctors, for example, celebrities, people who are deemed credible within that industry, and if they share the information, these figures of authority, tendency is people would remember more of what they are saying. The next one is E, emotional. So people tend to remember ideas if it ever it taps into their emotion, right? To make them feel an emotion when listening to you. So one example there is NGOs. So rather than simply telling people to make a donation and it would be contributed to a good cause, NGOs would be more effective if they told a story. So one example here was they shifted, instead of asking for donations, what they did is they told an emotional story of a kid in Africa, specific kid in Africa, and what donating X amount would put this specific kid into college or give a good education, right? So because of this, it tapped into the emotions of people. People donated more, and the idea of supporting it is more compelling, right? And the last one to make ideas stick is whenever you have an idea, try to weave it into stories. Mainly because if we bombard them with facts, tendency is it does not stick. The idea does not stick to a lot of people. However, if you frame it in a story, you take them through a journey, you weave it into a story, people remember these ideas better. So those are the six tactics on how you can make your ideas stick. One good example of a strategy that encapsulates all of these ideas, all of these strategies to make ideas stick. It was John F. Kennedy when he made an announcement that they would send a man to moon and bring him back safely into Earth, rather than focus on the statistics of the data of gathering very smart scientists, rocket scientists, and building a ship and so on. They made the idea very simple. We want to bring a man to the moon and bring him back safely. So it's quite simple, very concrete to the core idea. It's unexpected because it's the first time that's going to happen during that time. Concrete because it's very visual, right? Bringing a man to the moon. Credible because, it's the government and working closely with NASA. Emotional because, again, it's the first time that they're going to do it. And story, about being the first nation to do it. So because of this, John F. Kennedy was able to gain a lot of support and hence successfully execute on that storytelling. So with that, there's definitely a blocker for you making your idea stick. And according to the authors, there's what you call the curse of knowledge. So to highlight this, he gave an example wherein a group of students in Stanford were doing a research wherein there's the tappers and there's the listeners. So the tappers' main job was to tap using their fingertips 120 different tunes of a song. And then the listeners were given the instruction to guess what song was the tapper tapping, right? When they asked the tappers on what percentage do they think that the listeners will get it right, they said about 50% of the songs being tapped would be accurate. When the studies went out, unfortunately, out of the 120 tap songs, only 3 songs were accurately guessed. So it relates back to the curse of knowledge, wherein if we are the subject matter expertise on a certain topic of interest, right? Tendency is we are biased to believe that our audience already knows it. Because of this, we're not able to easily convey our message. So these 6 key principles discussed earlier are the techniques for you to make your ideas more compelling, more memorable, and make it stick to your audience. So with that, those are the 6 key takeaways from Made to Stick. And if you did like that summary, please leave your comment below on what was your favorite takeaway. And if you like more summaries like this, I summarize a lot of business books, self-development books in my YouTube page. Search Paolo Balinas, and I have, I think 24. This is my 24th book summary. And with that, I do it every Sunday. See you again next Sunday. Hope you learned a lot. Thank you and have a great evening.